Holy moly, what a pain in the booty. Okay. Well, it looks like I fixed my microscope camera issue. Jeez, that was a pain in the butt. Um, FYI, for anybody using OBS, if your image goes black, you have to create a new scene in order to get your microscope camera to show back up. Anyway, what we have here on the bench today, before I just started recording a 10-minute video and realized my microscope camera is not showing up, is we have a SanDisk Cruzer USB device that is in need of being repaired and data recovery. The problem is the owner smacked it and knocked the port off, and here's the old port. This is the old port, and it's got a pin missing. You can see on the right side there's a pin gone, so that's no good. My customer, I do mostly business to business micro soldering and repairs. The customer of mine decided that they were going to solder another USB port on here, and their soldering, though they did a gallant effort, they fell a little short. And they weren't able to get all the pins correctly soldered, and so now we have to clean this up and rescue the data off this broken USB drive. So here we go. Alright, so back to the microscope camera. Scope cam, alright. So as we can see under the microscope, we have got some ripped pads and a lot of flux. So here we've got a missing pad. This pad has been completely ripped off. Actually, all four have been ripped off, so yay. Yeah, so all the pads have been ripped off, and none of these connections are connected. Also, I don't know if I can tilt it in the microscope. This is not the correct connector. As you can see on that big pin there in the back, this pin right here, this type of male USB port has pins that go down and is meant for through hole, though this is not a through hole USB thumb drive. These are surface mount solder points. So the first order of business we're going to have to do is we're going to remove this USB port, clean up all these connections, just kind of look around and trace these out, because I see there's a trace. There's a trace here that goes here under the port, and I'm thinking it goes to this pin, but I want to make sure. And then this one, there's a via right here that we may be able to scrape and solder to. So yeah, alright, and we're gonna have to fix some other solder joints. This capacitor here is tombstoned right now, as you can see. Standing at attention, so we're gonna have to address that as well, but that's okay. We'll fix all that. Alright, so we're going to turn the fume extractor on now, and we're going to go ahead and remove all this solder out of these ground pins and see if we can't clean things up a little bit. It's important to note as well, when you're doing stuff like this, you really got to pay attention to what you're doing, because you could easily ruin this USB drive, and the person won't be able to recover their data, which would be a sad state of affairs. I'll go ahead and retin my tip so it looks nice and shiny. Been using it a lot, and it's kind of starting to dull a little bit, but we got it all nice and shiny now. Alright, we'll get out our flux, get our thumb drive here, and we'll start soldering away and see if we can't take care of this. Get this data back. We're going to stay away from that NAND chip too. So, well, looks like they're using lead-free solder, which is good. We'll go ahead and wick up all that stuff. We're going to kind of start fresh with our soldering and just kind of see what we got going on. Little thumb drive's getting squirrely here. And still not going to hurt you. Alright, there's that one. Get some flux over here on this side. So we're just going to remove this temporarily for a minute and kind of trace out our pads, see where they go, and then we'll clean the pins on this USB port, and we'll just use that as our port to rescue the data off here. Because this thumb drive is probably not going to be put back into service, I don't think. Go ahead and suck up all the solder off there. Ouch. We're loose yet. Okay. Alright, so we got that out. Now we're going to go ahead and clean this flux up here and see what we got going on. So now we can clean this up and see, get kind of a good idea of what we're dealing with. Alright. We're going to clean these holes up too, because we're going to have to reuse these holes and put that USB port back in here so we can get the data. Clean that up a little. I think that should probably suffice. Cut our braid here again. Hit this other, sorry for the flipping around of the USB. You can see what I'm doing. We're just kind of soaking up all the solder so we can have clean holes to put the port back down into, and we're just kind of doing some investigating real fast. Yeah, that traces, that side of that through hole is ripped, but that's okay, because we're not planning on keeping this guy going. We just want the data off here quickly. All right. So, bunch of flux there. Alright. So we're going to have to kind of figure out where those two connections go because they're not obviously not visible. Whoops. We tore that trace a little, but that's okay. We're going to run a wire to that anyway, so that's fine. We don't care. We're going to just kick that. Whoa, hey, not that far. We'll just break it off there. That's how easy it is to tear traces on these. So that's a good demonstration how easy it is. So we're just going to scrape some copper off here. Or sorry, some solder mask. So we're going to run some jumpers. Even if I even wanted to, I could put... Jeez. Put a little solder mask on there and hold that thing down. Seems like he wants to just run. Have to be a little more careful when we do this other one. These are probably our data pins. Sorry, that exposure is probably crazy bright. What if I could turn my brightness down on my overhead? There we go. You can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit. Whoops. Oh, that's too much. There we go. So we're just cleaning that up. Well, that trace just does not want to stay lying down, does it? We'll fix that. Watch this. What we're gonna do. First of all, I'm gonna turn my light on my microscope up higher so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'll open up the software for my microscope camera and see if I can't adjust the exposure. Hopefully it doesn't mess everything up. Alright, well I guess nothing wants to play ball tonight. Nobody wants to play nice. Cannot preview. Please replug in device and try again. Right. Okay, well, sorry, I hate to say it, but I guess we're going to have to leave this overexposed because now the camera software doesn't want to work. Earlier I started recording this video and OBS decided not to work and my camera wouldn't, or my microscope camera wouldn't show up. So first I tried to reinstall OBS. That didn't work. And finally I figured out how to delete the scene and recreate it. And that seemed to work, but now It's not wanting to cooperate. Alright, so we just need that much exposed, so we'll go ahead and... Oh, and of course, yep, my camera locked up, so... Let's try this again. Okay. Of course. Wow, nothing wants to work anymore. This is awesome. It's like as soon as I open up Amscope's web software, not even Amscope software doesn't want to work either. I'm wondering if it has to do with something of the fact that I'm using USB instead of HDMI. I gotta fix that. We're just gonna create a generic scene real quick and see if we can get it to work again. There we go. So great. Every time I do that, I gotta recreate the scene. That's okay. At least you can see that I'm gonna try to use Amscope software again and see if I can tone down the exposure. This may destroy everything again. Yep. Wow. And of course it locked up again. Remove. Why are you doing this? How come you cannot run OBS and the microscope camera software at the same time? So if I tone down the exposure, create a new scene. Apologize for the issues. This just started happening. I've done lots of videos and it seems like right now is the time it wants to act up. And OBS doesn't want nothing to do with Amscope's software. Try this one more time before I completely give up. Ha! Alright, there we go. Now it's not so overexposed you can't see what I'm doing. Basically I put some solder mask on the trace so you can see. Zoom in a little bit here. Yeah, you can kind of see. I'm gonna hit that with some UV so we can keep that trace down just long enough to solder it. Seems like I got cotton fibers everywhere. We're gonna hold that down a little bit. Give it some UV. That'll just keep it from ripping up anymore and making a bigger mess. I mean, we have, that's nice and solid. We have this whole track that goes all the way from that point all the way over here to this chip. So we have plenty of rooms for mistakes, but alright. Now the next order of business is to figure out, I'm thinking this is ground, but I'm not for sure. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna touch, this seems like all it's tied to ground here. We're gonna touch this little tiny spot. We'll touch a ground point with our multimeter probe on continuity and see if that is a ground pin. Sure, I could probably look up the pin out on a 4-pin male USB 2.0 connector, but where's the fun in that? All right, we'll do one probe here on right here on ground, and we'll touch this. So probably safe to say this was ground. Yeah, so this is probably a ground pin. So this is probably a ground pin. And I imagine since these two pins here are going to this SanDisk chip, this A2 82-00515-5 chip, it's probably the NAND controller, memory controller. These are probably the data pins. And then this is probably power, which we've got a little area here we can scrape and run a wire to, just long enough to get the data off this. We also got to fix this capacitor over here. I thought something went here, but it looks like since this is a little mountain, I don't think anything was there. So we're going to go ahead and scrape. See if you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to scrape this off here. It's enough to get a wire soldered to this. And I've got the other USB port, or the USB thumbstick on standby already plugged into the computer. So once we plug this in, I'm not going to delay. I'm going to immediately transfer the files as to not tempt fate and lose the customer's data. Pretty sure this is ground. So we'll just run us a nice little jumper here. Ah, you can't even see what I'm doing. I gotta get that other lens, the bigger or the wider. There you go, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just exposing some copper here. This is all ground. You could tell because there's like a break in the dark green here. There's a break in the dark green here, and there was a break in the dark green here, so pretty sure that's ground. Alright, so now we can run some wires. We'll clean up that USB port and see if we can't get it on here. So now we got our nice makeshift pads. You know what? Let's fix that capacitor too. Oh, trace is unruly. Grr. Well, our trace ripped up again, so we're gonna straighten it out. hit it with alcohol and it came up. So. All right. Messing with me, man. These flipping Q-tips or cotton swabs and their fuzz. So, all right, buddy. We just need you working long enough, just long enough to get the date off. All right. We're gonna fix this. I think it's a capacitor or a resistor. We're gonna touch up all those joints. So we touched up the joints on that little guy there, and we're gonna see if we can't get this guy to lay down. This is hard to hold, this little USB stick. I need to get a Omni-Vice. We'll make it work. It's like hitting my microscope. No, go down. Okay. Alright, that's not perfect, but that'll work. It's connected. All we need is him to stay connected for a few minutes. We get a new cotton swab. That one's all beat up. Okay. Alright, good enough. We'll go ahead and tin these spots that I created. Get our wires ready to be ran. Okay. There's you. Just use a tiny bit of flux on these. Okay. Probably more than adequate. All right. Now, we'll set that aside and we'll see if we can clean up the pins on this USB port. This is probably not a necessary step. I'm just kind of curious about what kind of port this is. If it is indeed a meant for through hole or and no, it's not. It's the correct one, it looks like. Why they had the pins bent down, I'm not sure. Whoops, don't break that. Alright, we're going to leave that alone. The sides, the ground pins look okay. Alright. We'll go ahead and stick it back into the USB port, or USB drive. Oh wait, never mind, I gotta run a wire first for my 5 volts. And the ground. Okay. I'm going to zoom down a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. It's kind of hard to see when I'm that far up. This wire don't want to cooperate. Right, because I'm doing a video. Bumping things and acting all crazy. Okay. There we go. That little guy is going to act as our jumper to our 5 volts. Okay. Alright. It's that guy. And the rest of those I think we can run while the USB port's on the board. Curious. I'll double check something. Alright. Why does my microscope light don't seem bright as it should? Put a little solder on these anchor points to hold it down. Okay. Same with this guy. Like I said, we're not after perfection on this. We're just after it to hold it long enough so we can Transfer the data to a new drive. Okay. Now comes the fun part. So now we're gonna bend that wire up and solder it to that pin. This is either going to go fantastically or horribly wrong. Okay. So it looks like that connection's made. Now we're going to run our other jumpers here. And when I get done, I'll turn the volume up really loud so you can hear it beep. Connect to my computer and I think turning it at an angle like this is going to be easier. Get a hold of the okay. There's that little jumper. I gotta hold the board down with my finger because it's so small. So there's that one. On to the next one. There's that guy. What if we could run all three jumpers with just one piece of wire? That'd be cool. Are you not soldered? You're like peeling out of the solder. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is our problem pad. We'll go ahead and check them for continuity when we're done and make sure we got continuity. Alright, one more. Really need some better wire cutters. Couldn't cut the broadside of a barn with these things. Alright. Now our last but not least. Okay. Might be some time for some new tweezers too. Okay. I think we're gonna need to get some new flux here. Get that to stay right. Is my microscope camera freezing? No. Okay, good. Need some more solder, maybe. All right. Undo this. The tips of these tweezers are horrible. Alright, I'm going to gently clean the flux off of this if I can. Alright, there's our jumpers. We're going to plug this into the computer here in a second and see if we have a path to data. Or if we have a mess. My shop's a mess, but boy, I hope this recorded. I'm going to be sad if I just did this whole repair and OBS decided not to record it or do something silly like it normally does. I feel like I can get like 3 good videos out of it before it starts acting up. Okay, that was less than helpful. See, yeah. USB Type A. Alright, here goes nothing. How can I show you guys without showing the customer's data? I can stick the overhead cam and plug it in and then, yeah. Alright, here goes nothing. Oh, I heard a beep. There it is. We have data. Look at that. Beautiful. Let me make sure there's no names on here. There is. There's names, but you can see USB. Yes, we have a path to data. I'm so happy. Oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, that's awesome. Wonder if I unplug it and plug it back in, you can hear it make the noise, and then ha! Yes. Awesome. You can see the orange light. I can't show you because anyway, I'm gonna start copying files. Oh, this is beautiful. Alright, let's copy them. We're gonna put them on the new drive that the customer provided to us. So that's USB-E. So where's our other USB port? Or our other USB drive, excuse me. Why is it not showing up now? The new one. The old one's showing up. Why isn't the new one showing up? Is my USB port broken on my computer? I swear I gotta replace these ports on the front of my computer. Oh well, we're gonna copy it. We're gonna copy it locally and then we'll put it on the thumb drive. I don't want to take any chances of losing any data on account of my USB ports on my computer not working. Beautiful. Oh, this is wonderful. So happy. 6 gigs we're copying. Here, I can show you that really quick. Let me show you. Let me flip over to this before anything shows up. Our monitor. OBS minimize. See, you can see right now. Data's copying over from the drive. Yes, I'm so happy. Oh, we're gonna let that copy over and call the customer, give them the great news that we saved their data. We were able to fix their broken thumb drive to get their data off. That's wonderful. Beautiful, beautiful news. All right, that is so cool. We'll verify the data and yeah, probably format that, wipe that little thumb drive and keep it as a souvenir. We'll do a proper DoD wipe on it and we'll we'll hang it on the, we'll put it on the wall, or we'll encase it in resin or something and keep it as a souvenir. Beautiful. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this video. I mean, there's nothing else to show except that it worked, and we were able to fix it and get the data, so the customer is going to be ecstatic. We're just going to sit here and let it copy, and we'll get it transferred to the new thumb drive. And we'll give it to them and make sure that all their data is there. So yeah, I guess there's really nothing else. I mean, I'd like to, maybe I'll sit, it's about halfway done. It's at 45%. I can sit here and wait for it to get done. See, it's copying right now. We're at 46%. So I'll sit here and wait for it to get done copying, and then we'll pull it out and look at those beautiful jumpers one more time. Yeah, that's strange that the new USB stick isn't working, but that's because my USB ports on the front of my PC tower are damaged. So from the same thing that this little thumb drive suffered from getting bumped. So every time it gets bumped, those ports are just taking a beating, and now they'll work intermittently in their USB 3.0. So I mean, I can replace them. I'll just solder new ones on there or whatever. I got a box of them right here. As a matter of fact, you can see them right here. I got single USB 3 and doubles, and those are single. Yeah, they're single USB 3. I'm getting more too. I'm getting a bunch more PS4 HDMI ports. I'm getting a bunch more different USB ports in stock because I rather enjoy doing those repairs. So anyway, yeah, we're at 74%. So awesome. I'm so happy. She's just copying away. I hate to sit here with you guys, or sit here keeping the video going, torturing, but the suspense is, let's see, yep, 85% complete. Got 1.2 gigs left. All right, 500 megabytes. $300 megabytes. Wow, we're doing 20 megabytes a second. That's fast. It's a pretty fast transfer rate for my computer. Usually it's like 5 megabytes. Nice bright orange light blinking. Means we're transferring data. And we're done. We're done. We did it. We're going to verify the transfer. See how many files we transferred. Yeah, so at 6.3 gigabytes, 3,312 files, 149 folders. Now we're going to check that thumb drive and see if we got roughly the same amount. Let's see. Yep, 6.3. Even the bytes, the size match up. 6,766,588,709 bytes. Yep, perfect. It was a perfect copy. Cool. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and leave that intact. We'll unplug it. We'll transfer them files to the new thumb drive, and that's it. So anyway, it took an hour to rescue that thumb drive, but it, to me, was an hour well spent, because now somebody is going to get their data for school or for whatever it is they needed, personal reasons. I'm not looking at the data. I just look at the names of the folders, and that's it, and the size, and you know, they get their data back and they'll be happy. So anyway, if you enjoyed this, give me a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel, or visit our website at www.optimizedlogicrepair.com if you need your USB thumb drive repaired. Anyway, this is Tim signing off, so have a good night. Thanks for watching.